Welcome, everyone, to Wrestling Rewind here on the Greg Cherry YouTube channel. I am the West Coast Professor Jeff Meacham. He is the master of the channel, the Wrestling Trivia Champion, WQ Wrestling Champion, and the host of Luck of the Draw, creator of Luck of the Draw, I should say. Greg Cherry's with me as always. Now, before we get into what we're going to get into, because I advertised this yesterday, since you're seeing this Friday, we did decide to skip King of the Ring. And the reason is because we figured out that you guys don't want to watch us do 3 hours of this stuff. Because as fun as it is for us to go back and bullshit through and talk through these things, 3 hours is a long show. And when we figured that we've got some really great matches to look forward to in the next few weeks and months, and a couple of them are upwards of an hour, including next week, which will be Flair Steamboat 2 from the Clash of Champions, which I'll have you guys queue up next week. It's like 3 hours is a lot of Greg and Jeff time, especially when we're not doing XMV tapings anymore. So
yeah, we can say those words on this channel.
Yes, I mean we get really long-winded, especially me more so than anybody, and it tends to drag on when we're trying to fill 3 hours of content. Especially when you guys are trying to watch the screen and watch us, and watch the screen and watch us, listen to us. I'm sure it's a pain in the ass. So we're going to move on from King of the Ring 2002, and we may pick a match from that show at some point to watch on this channel, but we'll see. You know, there's always Lesnar versus RVD. There's always Taker versus Triple H, but we have better Taker Triple H matches to look forward to in the coming weeks. I think I have the Hell in the Cell match that you attended live queued up.
Sweet.
So I think we'll watch that instead of the Taker Triple H King of the Ring Classic.
Yeah, I think there was also Angle Hogan on that show too. So.
You know, I forgot that completely until I watched it through. I was like, it actually wasn't a bad match for as old as Hogan was then, and God is now. And you know, as Angle was, you know, starting to get beat up by that point, it was actually a really good outing for both guys.
But you know what? I still think it's weird. I think Hogan's best match of that like comeback run, I know he went out by Lesnar, was his match against Vince at Mania. The two of them,
yeah,
was north of 50, beating the crap out of each other, and it was great.
Yeah, and even the awkward cameo by Piper didn't diminish how awesome that match was.
Yeah, it just kind of happened.
It was just kind of in the moment, and it was, and you know, Vince even made fun of how Piper looks. So you know, yeah. But today, we're not going to have some awkward 50-year-olds staggering through a WrestleMania match, or awkward 50-year-old versus a in-shape 30-something-year-old at King of the Ring. We've got one of, in my opinion, the 3 best matches of all time. And yes, you'll have people who, you know, write newsletters report that the matches in Japan are better, but I completely disagree with that statement. I'm sorry. He should not be named. But these are all 5-star matches, and they are 5-star matches because they earn it. And I'm talking, of course, about Ricky Steamboat versus Ric Flair for the NWA World Championship. And you're going to note that I'm wearing my NWO shirt calling the Steamboat Flair match. And I don't know why, other than that, I got this shirt this week in the mail. I felt like wearing it on this week's show. Next week, I'll have the big gold belt shirt. Don't worry. So.
And I'm wearing a Shane O'Mac jersey just because.
Because Shane O'Mac is awesome, and Shane O'Mac is the best in the world, and he deserves his jersey to be shown anytime, anywhere.
Get him back on Shop.
Yeah. WWE, he had to have that custom made, y'all. Seriously, guys, come on. Get with it. All right, now comes the fun part. If you didn't follow the link to the WWE Network that I posted on Twitter for this match, it's a bit of a challenge to find it because it's in the greatest matches section that no longer technically exists on the network. So you have to go into the search and search for Flair versus Steamboat, or Flair Steamboat, and it'll come up as the match from the Chi-Town Rumble in February of '89, February 20th to be exact, Chi-Town Rumble, and the video is just under 27 minutes long, including entrances. So that's the one you're looking for. I had the link for the video on my Twitter yesterday. It'll be in the link for the video that I post today. So fear not if you can't find it right away. I'll give you a link, and it should be there right now. So I'll give you a chance to queue up. Little backstory, as we always do. These two had some great untelevised matches in the 70s and early 80s when both were part of Jim Crockett Promotions, which of course became WCW. And they had tore the house down all over the house show circuit, if you want to call it that. It was just live events or whatever. Back then it wasn't really, it was what it was back in the 70s. There wasn't a whole lot of TV to go around. So, but these two guys also had a lot of televised matches for the U.S. Championship and for the World's Championship that really stole every show they were on. And for a while, the matches kind of went away because Flair continued on as NWA World Champion after the first Starrcade. He was a two-time champion, and Steamboat went to the WWF. Not too long after Starrcade, actually, he and Jay Youngblood won the NWA World Tag Titles from the Briscoes, and then within a few months, he was in the WWF. He was gone. Matter of fact, Steamboat was one of the few people that was at the first WrestleMania and the first Starrcade. So there you go. Along with Roddy Piper, of course, who had that dog collar match with Valentine and then went on to main event WrestleMania. So there you go. But in 1989, Steamboat had actually left the WWF a year prior. He had taken time off after actually winning the Intercontinental Championship from Randy Savage, another 5-star match that we'll probably get to at some point here on this show. And took time off to be with his wife and newborn son, and ended up having to drop the IC title to the Honky Tonk Man of all people. And then came back for WrestleMania 4 for the tournament, and then he left, and then he was introduced to WCW audiences, or introduced to WCW audiences, I should say, in January of '89, when he was revealed as Eddie Gilbert's mystery partner against the Horsemen, who, of course, were Flair and Wyndham at the time with J.J. Dillon. They were just starting to transition out of the Horsemen being a thing because Arn and Tully had gone to the WWF. JJ was on his way out. By the time the Flair Steamboat matches started happening at this one here at Chi-Town Rumble, Hiro Matsuda was managing Flair. So the Horsemen were a thing of the past. It was now the Yamasaki Corporation, at least for the first 2 matches in this series, which again we'll get to next week's match, or the next match next week. But for now, cue up your WWE Network. If you haven't already got there, well, then you're out of luck at this point. So 3, 2, 1. Maybe. There it goes. And it looks like Steamboat's already in the ring because we got the pomp and the circumstance and the lights and everything because they're playing the theme 2001: A Space Odyssey for the World's Champion. The aisle is lined with ladies, as only Ric Flair can produce in an entrance. Now, people will argue with me a lot, and they have, about when Flair was at his best during this 80s run. Was it against Harley when he was still a face? Was it against Dusty? Was it against, Ronnie Garvin, who probably not, people will say Ronnie Garvin. But I think Flair, even, he was already 40 years old. But actually, I think he turned 40 this week on the Chi-Town Rumble. He turned 40 sometime around this period in history. So he was already 40 and going up, and he was probably at his best year. Here he is, Flair, married, a father of 3 at least, if not 4, and he's kissing the girls at ringside. I actually think that's Precious, Jimmy Garvin's wife.
Kissing the girls and making them cry.
That's right. And the evil Mr. Matsuda, I mentioned him earlier. He was a former NWA junior heavyweight champion. He was around, and people kind of crap on this portion of Matsuda's career. They still respected him, but he wasn't J.J. Dillon. I mean, let's be real.
I mean, who was?
No. Nobody in the NWA could match up with J.J. Dillon, I don't think. You had Teddy Long come along. I mean, actually, Teddy Long's referee in this match. You'll see him later. Right now, the irrepressible Tommy Young is referee, and there's Steamboat in those ridiculous green pants that only the Dragon can wear, I guess, because it's green.
Of course.
There you go. Now, what's funny is that robe that Matsuda is handing down to the ring attendant right now, when you go to StarCast and you go to the conventions that the big gold belt appears at for photo ops, that robe is usually with it. That's one of the many Flair robes that have been sold or passed down or whatever to the various promoters over the years that that has been used for stuff like Starcast. So that's awesome that people get to pose with the big gold belt and the Flair robe from Chi-Town Rumble. Now this is not the Rosemont Horizon. Let me. I was mistaken about this for many years. I thought that was Rosemont Horizon, but it's actually the UIC Pavilion, which is now, I believe, closed. So this is a precursor to the United Center, and because I guess the WWF ran Rosemont, so WCW ran the UIC.
So who was on commentary in this match? Because I haven't turned on. I heard Jim Ross briefly, but
I believe this one is JR and Magnum TA.
Okay.
And JR just commentated for all. Another reason why these three matches are so awesome is because JR commentates all three of them.
There you go.
We got Jim Ross, not JR, not quite JR yet. Jim Ross and Magnum TA on this one. Jim Ross and Terry Funk in April, and then Jim Ross and Bob Caudle in May.
I think you were going to say Bob Costas. I was like, I didn't know he called him this.
No, if anything, Costa would be calling a WWF match, if anything.
Yeah.
Bob Caudle, God bless him. And actually, Lance Russell, the longtime Memphis announcer,
randomly showing a player for the Bears.
That's right.
In the middle of the match.
Well, he actually, I don't know, Jim Ross going to mention this on one commentary, either him or one of the other guys wears a Flair shirt underneath his pads during the game.
Oh, there you go.
Every game. So they're big, the Bears are big wrestling fans. I mean, you remember, 3 years before, some of the Bears were part of WrestleMania.
Yeah. They were in that Battle Royal, the NFL against WWE.
Yep.
I mean, Fridge, most famously.
The Fridge, of course, who's a Hall of Famer now. In both sports.
Yeah.
As he should be. The fact that Fridge got in for Mr. T made me still like, huh?
It might have just been a timing thing.
Yeah, I heard down the line that Mr. T kept refusing it. He was like, I don't want to be part of it. So yeah. I don't know how much that's true and how much that's just people BSing, but look at this. Already Steamboat's got Flair in trouble. Is Tommy, what does Tommy have on his shirt there? Is it like a stain or is it something in his pocket?
It kind of looks like something hanging out of his pocket.
I never noticed that before until I started watching this time. What the hell is that?
Oh, jeez.
God, it's so funny. The most vivid memory I have of a Flair picture, just a picture, mind you. He was the featured centerfold picture of Pro Wrestling Illustrated one month. I forget what month. Couldn't tell you in a lineup. But there's a picture of Steamboat chopping Flair, and his skin is folding over Steamboat's hand. He's chopping him so hard.
I believe it. I'm trying to figure out what's on the referee's shirt.
It's bugging the shit out of me now. I know. It's gonna bug me for the whole half hour now.
Yeah, if you wouldn't have mentioned it, I wouldn't have even paid attention.
I know.
Oh, now I want to know what the damn thing is.
Well, yeah, see? Now we're going to spend 25 minutes talking about Tommy Young's shirt. It's one of the greatest matches of all time. This is why we don't do 3-hour shows anymore, people. We go off the rails completely. It's over with. Forget it.
Just a random thought. Do they have like the Flair Funk matches from '89 too on here?
Yes, actually, in this collection is their match from, I want to say, July at the Clash of Champions, or maybe from November, the New York Knockout. I'll have to look.
Because I remember watching the Super Bowl 2000 match between them, and they talked about their '89 match. It was like, never actually watched it.
I forgot they had a match Super Bowl 2000. Jesus.
They had a Texas death match.
Oh my God. They had to be both in their 50s or 60s.
Oh,
for Christ's sakes.
Terry Funk was probably 85 when that match happened.
Terry Funk was 85 when he won the world title. And that was in 77.
Yeah. Middle-aged and crazy.
Yeah, no kidding. As a matter of fact, somebody mentioned that on commentary. It may have been JR or maybe the King. Middle-aged crazy. How many 144 old men do you know?
Yeah.
See, again, Matt Sudo's just totally just chilling there ringside. He's like, whatever. He just, there's no
guidance, no nothing.
Yeah, he's definitely no Bobby or JJ. That's for sure.
I'll tell you what. When I was an indie manager, like I always like tried to be a part of the match. Otherwise, I was just standing out there. And it's like, if I'm just gonna be out there to stand out there, I shouldn't be there at all. It's like
I
I
learned
should
something early on because I had the grace and the good fortune to have Bobby Heenan's first book before I started in the business. Okay, and Bobby said he always managed like a wrestler and wrestled like a manager. So when I was at ringside, I would be animated with my guys. I would, sell every time they got hurt. And then the one time I went in the ring, I was about as graceful as a freaking hippo.
I get it.
And I showed it too because I took an elbow shot and it hurt me for months. It was awful. So, but again, I wrestled like a manager. So there you go. So Bobby taught me that, and Bobby actually, when I asked him for advice, he said the same thing. Just if you're going to be a manager, manage like you're a wrestler and wrestle like you're a manager. That way, you're as animated as your client, but you're not taking attention away.
Right.
Now, the problem with my story is that my angle was supposed to be, I was supposed to, along with Anthony Maris, who was Gary's partner in the business, I was supposed to be the focal point, and my guys were kind of like seeking my revenge against Gary for me. So I had to bring a little more attention against me,
Mm-hmm.
So I had to find the line, and I never did really find it. Unfortunately, I never did find it by the time I left the company, so it kind of didn't work out. But. See, it's just these little things. We say this every week, the little things, but especially between these two guys. These two guys wrestled, what did Flair say, like 3,000 times? Never had a bad match. I almost want to go back after we finish the 3 and see if the Spring Stampede 94 match is on there somewhere by itself. That match is really good, too.
Well, I mean, it's Flair and Steamboat, so there you go.
Right, exactly.
Hell, Steamboat was having good matches in 2009, so...
He was, I know. The fact that he retired 15 years before meant nothing. Like, whatever. He was.
Yeah, like Piper...
The belt. Oh, look at that belt.
Piper showed his age. Snuka showed his age. Steamboat...
Yeah.
It looked like he never left the ring.
Yep. And it's funny, when Jericho came back and had that run where he was a babyface, then he went heel again.
Yeah.
He looked so good thanks to Dallas. Like he took that bump off the cage, and Dallas always said that was my biggest selling point for the wrestlers. Like, look what Jericho did after the program.
Yeah.
He started to have kids like he's a 20-year-old. Well, I officially have a year to get my act together on the weight issue before Aaron and Caitlin's wedding. So
there you go.
I gotta really hammer out the yoga. Stick to water. 24-ounce Starbucks cup of water, kids. Your best friend, man. Keep you thirsty and hungry.
You don't really see those running hip tosses out of the corner anymore.
No, you really.
For those head scissors.
Or that, yeah, exactly. Yeah, very, very much a lost art. A lot of stuff that Steamboat did was his own innovation, and a lot of it you don't see anymore, or you never did after him in the first place.
Yeah. Fun thing though, like in the WWE Champions like mobile game, they actually have that version of the head scissors.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And like every single move you do with Steamboat, you can do an arm drag. So it's like, okay.
Well, yeah, because Steamboat's arm drags are second to none.
Exactly.
Seriously, if I could, if I could find a way, if I actually was good at these damn WWE video games that are out now, which I'm not, and I would build the perfect wrestler, I would have Steamboat's arm drags. I would have either Steamboat or Orton's drop kicks. Maybe Hardcore Holly's drop kicks.
Yeah, Hardcore Holly would be a good choice too.
Yeah. I would have Flair's selling except for the face bump.
I hate taking face bumps.
They're the worst.
Like, I'll do back bumps and flip bumps all day. Face bumps suck.
Yeah.
Not even as much because you land on the face, because you land on your nuts. At least.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're just
whenever I had to land on my face, I would like purposely, stupidly, I guess, go face first and make sure I like ease my nuts down slow but sure. But the face was just plant.
I think I'd rather land on my face than on my nuts.
Totally. Your face can be repaired. Your nuts, once they're gone, man. Stinks soprano.
I do have to say, like, I love Steamboat's punches because you can like see it's kind of like a weird fist that he makes. It's not a
he is that weird like claw hold, like almost like a Kerry Von Erich claw hold when he punches.
Yeah.
Weird. Again, the little things.
Pretty sure he did that in the Savage match too.
He probably did. It's probably one of his trademarks I never noticed till you just brought that up, actually.
Oh, there we go. Flair being Flair.
Okay. Now that thing on the shirt's gone, so I don't know what the hell.
I didn't even notice it left.
I'm pretty sure I did. Oh,
That's still there.
Still there? Okay, I don't know. Don, I want to tweet him now. Like, tell me, what the hell?
Go for it. Be like, hey, in the Tri-Town Rumble, what was on your shirt?
Like, what was on your shirt during the world title match? What the hell was hanging off your collar?
Is the entire Chi-Town Rumble event on here?
Yeah, it's on there.
Okay.
It's on the WWE pay-per-view section.
Because I was gonna say, maybe it was a thing he wore the entire show.
Maybe it has something to do with where they were. I don't know. I'm thinking Red Chicago. It may have something to do with the Valentine's Day Massacre, maybe, because it was in Chicago near Valentine's Day.
Maybe.
I don't know. It just seems like the thing that would happen. I don't know.
Thing is, these are '80s cameras, so it's not like we can get HD zoom in.
I know. Yeah. Oh, speaking of HD cameras, oh my God.
Roll with the knee. That's different.
What happened?
Flair did the knee and he didn't do the roll through.
No, he didn't. He didn't, did he? So I decided to sign up for Impact Plus. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. It's basically the new version of the Global Wrestling Network that Impact Wrestling has put together. And I was watching the early weekly shows from 2002, and I forgot those weren't HD either, man. So the shot's like this big on the TV. Like there's a big TNA logo down each side of the screen, and the shot's like freaking box. It's like a little box. Like, oh my God. Yeah. But it's amazing how good that stuff was. As bad as those, I mean, like Scott Hall was in not bad shape, but not where he is now shape. Same with Sean Waltman, who had both come off WWF departures. Jarrett was great. AJ was amazing, of course, because AJ Styles. But it was cool to see that. It was cool to see the WWE Championship be showcased in such a way. I'd forgotten how intense those 2-hour shows were and why they cost $10 a week, but it was worth $10 a week.
Hey, he successfully came. Well, almost.
Oh my God! Oh, he rolled through anyway. He's for you.
He came off the top rope successfully until Steamboat rolled through.
That's right. If we ever see him hit that bump on this show, I might just pop right through the screen. Oh Lord.
Figure 4.
Figure 4 and Steamboat's just selling like gangbusters. Oh, he's in so much pain. Look at that.
I was gonna say, if you put that on right, it does hurt.
Oh, it does. Oh, it does. I love how the corner of Tommy's eye you can see out. You can see him looking at the rope, but he's not moving Flair. And why would Steamboat drag Tommy Young down on top of him? Make it worse. Help me! I'm trying.
Why don't the babyface wrestlers point and be like, "Look at him"?
He's like, for the love of Christ, Tommy Young, look.
Never seen a referee get that on top of a wrestler trying to ask him.
Young is all about it, man. He was the greatest referee never to work for Vince McMahon. I still say that to this day.
It's a good thing tapping out wasn't a thing because this match would have been over.
I know, it's over right there. That's it.
I was going to say something about Steamboat. I completely forgot what it was.
Oh, shit. Oh, by the way, I'm trying something out I haven't tried out in a while, guys. So let me just go ahead.
When you're watching the Impact Plus, didn't Steamboat do like a promo? I don't know if you're this far in, talking to Ron Killings about it was like some kind of like WWE was racist kind of promo.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. That was like week 3 or something like that. Yeah, it was a couple months. I take that back because that was the night he challenged for the title.
Yeah.
When he challenged Shamrock.
Yeah.
Yeah, Steamboat was all over those early shows. He was all over those early shows of TNA, man. He was the referee for the world title match, or the X Division title match. He was all about it.
Because I was like, is this a heel promo coming from Steamboat?
Yeah, I was like, yeah, caught me off guard. Yep. I know we're not too deep yet because Road Dogg just got introduced to the audience, and Dusty's there yet. So there'll be time.
Yeah, I don't think 3 Live Crew was a thing until like 03, 04 time frame.
No, because Conan wasn't even there yet.
Yeah, so there you go.
Conan was sitting on his Time Warner money still. I think. I don't know. I'm not a fan of K-Dog, so whatever. Although I was there to see them lose NWA tag titles to Team Canada. So.
Okay, so you're the NWA historian here.
Yes.
Why was there no disqualification for the crossbody over the top?
Because it was momentum carrying over rather than deliberate throw.
Okay.
Had Steamboat went yoink, that would have been it. But Steamboat would never do that because he's a constant babyface. So
right. Some of the people watching forget that the NWA had the over-the-top rope disqualification rule.
Yeah, they found their way with that when Billy bought it 2 years ago.
I loved when Heyman randomly referenced it at the 01 Survivor Series during a Battle Royal.
That was fantastic.
Because he was like, in the old NWA, you could get disqualified for being thrown over the top rope.
And what's funny is he was representing the Alliance, which included WCW at the time.
Yeah.
Like, Heyman, you're kind of, well, then again, he hated WCW for real, so.
Yeah. And he basically trashed the NWA title through Shane Douglas. So.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. I actually watched, I couldn't find the clip of just the match on the network, so I found it on Daily Motion of all places. Of Shane Douglas versus Too Cold Scorpio in the finals of that tournament, and then the aftermath. I forgot how good an orator Shane Douglas was.
Mm-hmm.
He just committed himself to that promo, and it was amazing.
I think Shane Douglas went to the WWE at the wrong time.
I think Shane Douglas, the character Dean Douglas, was wrong. Had the franchise debuted in 97, it'd have been over. But coming in as a obnoxious, hateful school teacher with a drippy character like that, it wasn't Shane Douglas.
No.
And we even talked about that when he was on Extreme Mayhem. It wasn't. It was never going to work.
How's the referees? He's counting Flair like Steamboat down 4 times now. It doesn't notice Flair's feet on the ropes.
What's funny is his head's almost underneath Flair.
Yeah, it's like. No.
You're not going to get Flair that easy, buddy.
No. Nice try, though.
Nice try, Ricky.
I would not want to take a chop through these two.
These damn chops. They chop each other like freaking lumberjacks, I swear.
Imagine like somebody doing a chop contest between Flair, Steamboat, Benoit, and Walter.
No.
It's like, I'm not volunteering my chest for that. No thanks.
I am not even going to watch that or for fear of going deaf. Yeah, Walter's no joke, man. I watched the match with Pete Dunne, man.
Yeah.
You know, another one who chops are underrated. He doesn't use it very often anymore is Roddy Strong. I've been this close to a Roddy chop more than once, and it's not. They're not fun to be around. I'll tell you what.
You know, I was watching a match with. It was an indie show. Corey Graves, Sterling James Keenan. He was actually wrestling his brother.
Oh wow!
And he threw a chop to Sam, and I swear that's the loudest freaking chop I've ever heard in my life.
Jeez. The loudest chop I ever heard live was, I don't remember who chopped who, but it was definitely Bryan Danielson and Low-Ki.
Was that PWG, I'm guessing?
It was. PWG World Title match, actually.
There you go.
When Low-Ki won the title from Bryan, that's when Bryan got ready to take his hiatus for, he was going to Japan or something. I forget what he was doing. He's going to be gone for a while, and he had to drop the title.
Mm-hmm.
Another promotion I missed going to, but they Disneyed their way out of my pocketbook, put it that way.
Well, they're one of the biggest indie companies in the world, so.
Yeah, but you know what? To quote Jeff Meacham, here's the thing. EWF has run out here for 23 years. Empire Wrestling Federation, the one that we went to that Wade Needham worked for.
Mm-hmm.
And their most expensive ticket is $20. And they run once a month, and they have great talent. They just don't bring in, you know, guys from other companies. They have homegrown talent, and their action's amazing. Yeah. So I can justify, as long as I can get to Covina, I can justify going there once a month rather than up here we go, we're getting toward the end here. I can justify spending $20 a month on wrestling tickets for that company rather than spending $60 or $50 for general admission for PWG.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. And you got the tights.
All kinds of tights. Okay, there's no count, Rick. Tune in. There you go. There comes Teddy Long with some hair. Now, again, had the referee seeing this, qualification. And first trying to get disqualified.
It's weird to see Teddy Long with hair.
Yeah. Steamboat flies, but he missed him. That's what Jim Ross just said. And now we go to school. No. The inside. Oh, the inside cradle. 1, 2, 3. Ricky the Dragon Steamboat has won the world's title. You guys are hearing Jim Ross say it as I say it. That's okay.
Yeah.
Now, see, here's where the selling point is. People are thinking, okay, second referee, but now the referee's getting up, so it's going to be a Desi finish, and Flair's going to retain the title.
Yeah.
Tommy Young goes, not so much. Now it's official. Steamboat is the world champion. Now, I don't know what theme they're playing here for Steamboat, but if they're using his WCW theme from like 1991 through 94, I'm all about it. I love that theme song so much.
Well, I know they couldn't afford the Chicago Bull song that he used.
Right.
Although that would have been fitting, being where they were.
Right, yeah, exactly. Yeah, this is just before Teddy Long started his slide into heeldom as a manager.
I was gonna say, was this pre-Doom days?
Pre-Doom, yep. This is shortly before Doom. I think that's it for the clip.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that's it. Oh, there you go, right there. Terry fucking Ric Flair from November. There you go. Question answered, sir.
There you go. I knew it was gonna happen somewhere. I just searched Steamboat, so that's why that came.
Well, that's arguably his greatest match when he won the world title. So, you know, people are going to point to him and Savage, but I I will argue, and I think Ric Flair would agree with me, not because he's in it, but I got some heat when I said this last time I said this on a public forum, is that Flair Steamboat was called 100% in the ring on the fly as they went. Whereas Savage Steamboat laid it out step by step, brick by brick, piece by piece, so that way it was flawless. And the reason it was flawless is because it was laid out as such.
Yeah.
I'm of the belief that a match should be called on the fly based on crowd reaction, based on environment, based on a number of things. So,
because if not to interrupt, but if you lay something out and it's not working, you have to adjust accordingly. You can't just keep going with your plan if it's not working.
Look at Hogan Rock. If that match had been stated the way that Rock laid it out, it would have been a complete clusterfuck.
Yeah.
But Hogan and Rock both went with the crowd, and it was one of the greatest moments of all time.
Yep.
As was this match. So there you go. All right, so next week, I'm going to tell you right now, you cannot find this match by itself anymore. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to go into shows, and you're going to go into the vault. And you're going to the Clash of Champions from April 2nd, 1989, the Clash of the Champions 6. And I believe it is, let me see if it's still under continue watching. Of course it's not, because that'd be too damn easy. But it's like an hour and 3 minutes and something in. I have it written down here. Let me see if I can see here. There. All right, it is 63 minutes into a 129-minute video. I'll have the exact time on this thing next week. But in the meantime, follow the link here for this match. It'll be in the greatest matches section if you can find it. If not, then just go with what we got. And thank you all for watching. Greg, your plugs?
You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at PA Sensation. ProWrestlingTees.com/PA Sensation. I'm hoping by the time this video goes up that my new shirt design will go up.
Buy that shirt for sure.
Yeah, Jeff knows what it is. We're not going to spoil it.
No.
Just in case it doesn't go up. I don't want to build anticipation for something that might not
But if
happen.
it's up there, you'll see it. Buy the shirt.
Buy a shirt. And that's really it for me. My Sunday stream before Extreme Rules this Sunday on the No DQ channel. Go check that out.
I'm trying to decide if I want to do a stream before Fight for the Fallen or not, because it'll be something that nobody else is going to do on this on the No DQ network.
That's completely your call, and then you can plug my thing on Sunday.
I might do that, so we'll see. Check it probably on my channel if anything. So be on the lookout for my channel this weekend for Fight for the Fallen coverage and for an Evolve review, because I'm probably going to watch that after Fight for the Fallen. They're making me choose. I was going to watch Evolve and do the right thing because I couldn't afford Fight for the Fallen. The AW said, "Oh, by the way, it's free." I went, "Well, shit." I want to see Dustin and Cody against the Bucks. So that's the selling point for me, is those two teams. So I want to see that match. I want to see Allie against Brandy. I want to see all the great matches. So check out Fight for the Fallen. It's on Bleacher Report Live. It's on Fight TV if you're not in the United States. And check out their DQ for all the latest coverage for Extreme Rules, and for Greg's stream on Sunday prior to Extreme Rules. And for Greg Cherry, this is Jeff Meacham saying we will see you next week on the Wrestling Rewind.